It's better to know it and not need it than need it and not know it, right? Preparedness is always the key. Mabuhay! Welcome back to my channel. This is Agnes Brazell and I'm a certified etiquette consultant. But before anything else, I hope everyone is staying safe during the pandemic. We just have to think that this is just temporary and then we're gonna go back to normal soon. I'm sure we're all looking forward to meet up with our family and friends over lunch or dinner. And that's what this video is all about. It's all about table manners. By the time we go back to normal and having lunch and dinner with family and friends, we've already polished our table manners. My goal is to make you comfortable when you dine out with family, friends, and business associates. If we know that we're doing it right, then we can concentrate more on our conversations and our agenda rather than our behavior on the dining table. Now, we encounter a lot of informal dining situations, but that doesn't mean that good table manners is not required or appropriate. You know, like chewing with your mouth open, and making noises like a pig, okay? That's really very ugly. Okay. So, what are table manners? Table manners actually speak volume about your refinement and often regarded as a sign of character. It's not being snobbish or showing off, but it's actually respect and consideration for others. And then it's, some people think that it's a rigid set of rules that we have to follow just for the sake of it. But that's not actually the case, because if you don't observe table manners, you're gonna make people feel uncomfortable around you and, eventually ruin other people's dining experience. In fact, it has become part of an interview process for higher end position and for those people with a lot of client contact. Okay, so here's the scenario. You're invited to a formal dinner, to a restaurant, or to a home party, okay, formal home party. First things first thing you're gonna do is confirm promptly if you can make it, or send regrets if you can't make it, and the sooner the better. Okay, so always remember that the people who are mentioned by the host are the ones who are invited. Ang iba kasi sa atin, pag inimbita, sinasama yung buong barangay. I'm just exaggerating, of course. Kasi ang dami dyan eh. Sinasama yung mga hindi invited. And then, let's just be fair to the host. Especially for formal dinners where head count is so important. Okay? And bring something for the host, like a little gift. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. Like a bottle of wine, flowers, or chocolates. Make her feel special. But say, for example, you bring a bottle of wine, don't expect it to be served during dinner. Because by that time, the host already has in mind what beverage to serve. Okay? And come on time. Remember what I told you before, that punctuality is respect for other people's time. Ideal is come on the dot or 5 minutes before, or not later than 15 minutes. There's no such thing as fashionably late. So if you are running late, you call the host and tell them that, I'm running late, something came up, just go ahead and then go ahead without me. Because it's really rude to have people wait for you before they start dinner. Okay, especially this is very important, especially for sit-down dinner. As you arrive, you greet the host immediately, but with the pandemic, of course, we forget about handshake. So I think in the Philippines, we can just do like this, put our right hand on the left chest and just nod slightly, okay, as a sign of like greeting. Although in some countries they've already been observing, it's part of their culture, the no handshake greeting, like in Japan where they just bow their heads, or in Thailand they say sawadee ka, or in India they say namaste. Okay, so don't just walk in and sit on the table even if the table is set. Okay, always wait for the host to give you the cues to be seated. And once seated, you have to mind your posture. Don't sit there comfortably like you are watching your favorite Netflix movie, okay? And don't expect to be seated next to your spouse or your partner. So, because if your host really know what she's doing, you don't sit couple next to each other. It should be man, woman, man. You know, that way you can interact with other people that you just met, and then it can actually stimulate interesting conversation. Okay, so in other words, the host calls the shots. Okay, so if the host wants to say grace before meals, just go along with it, even if you're not religious, and, you know, accept the gesture. But never ever volunteer to say grace before meals unless you're asked to, because people may not be so religious. So I think this is enough for part 1, and I hope you learned something, but there's more to learn in part 2. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and see you in part 2 video, and stay safe everyone.